this question is a very, very important one. And in the book of Wataroni, in which it talked about how Africa is being underdeveloped by all of these superpower. And particularly, I want to just borrow a leaf from a particular scholar, Scum Peters, in his work, Capitalism, Socialism, and Democracy, 1942. This particular scholar is of the opinion that the world is divided into two bipolar groups, right? One of the capitalist nature and one of the socialist nature. And at the end of the day, Africa is being cut off in this web, right? Africa is having its own identity. We have our ways of doing our thing in which we have grown over the years. As a matter of fact, this democracy that we are practicing is alien to us. Democracy is alien to us. We have our own ways of doing things. If you look at Nigeria, for instance, before the amalgamation of Nigeria in 1914 by Lord Lugard, we have different kind of administrative setting. We have the Yoruba, we have the Hausa, we have the Igbo, and so on and so forth. We are different people in which we are, and we have opinion that if we had been left to develop at our own pace, maybe we would have attained development, right? And mind you, before the coming of the Europeans into Africa, before their incursion in Africa, we have our own ways of doing things. And as a matter of fact, research has shown that we are at our own developmental pace and we are actually doing fine. Now, the involvement of the in African politics brought down, if you look at the way Africa is being structured, we have been blessed with a whole lot of natural resources. There are different kind of politics that is involved in the Western world, involving in our political system. I said something the other time, that why is it that we never heard of an African country banning a particular US politician or giving them a visa ban or something? Because it amounts to nothing. Nigeria is a sovereign state, and the definition of sovereignty is our own affairs without the external interference of anybody. Why is it that our politicians are so fast in seeking validation with the Western powers? Why? Have you ever heard of any US president coming to Nigeria to come and deliver a campaign speech? Why are they run to Chatham House in the UK, for instance? Why don't they come to our legislature? The problem is with us as African as a whole, and the spirit of Pan-Africanism is dead. Sorry to say. Why is it that we constantly seek validation of the superpowers? Is until we are validated before we start promoting. Okay, for instance, let me just say this. Period to this time, if you are dressed in your native on Monday, you have a Bariga native cap, and you say you'll be regarded as not being official, right? You'll be regarded as not being official. But now you see people, even going to the UN General Assembly with their cultural attire. It is because the Western world are already validating some of these things for us. That is why, we don't have that self-validation. Not until the Western world validates a particular thing before we start celebrating it ourselves. So the question is about the state of mind. In as much as these people have colonized they've colonized our lands physically and so on, they've also colonized our brain. The colonization is also in our brain. And up to this present moment is a problem. And that is why so many things that is Western is what is right. Right? There are so many things that is Western that we accept wholeheartedly. And we constantly, reject our own pride, the problem, reorientation, gradual shift from this Western validation. We cannot achieve anything as a continent. So it's a problem. It's a problem that is deep-rooted with our foundation. And it's as if we are transferring this from generation to generation to generation. And we constantly see ourselves as the weaker continent, as the smaller continent, as the less sensible continent. However, we have the brain, we have the resources, we have everything. But it just seems as if the Western world are having structure to keep subjugating us, to keep seeing ourselves under that cage, as if we are lesser than them. So it's a problem, it's a deep-rooted problem, and which seek a very, very, we need to reawaken our spirits and to develop that Pan-African, that Pan-Africanism, the spirit of Pan-Africanism, by the light of Kuruma Obafemi Awolowos, and so on and so forth.